This podcast is supported by patrons. You can find a full list of them in the description of this episode. Hello viewers and listeners of Good Morning BSS World podcast. This is Wiktor, Doktor, talking to you from our Warsaw's office. And today I have a special guest who came to me from Gdańsk. Gdańsk is a very good business location in the north of Poland. And the reason of this visit is to talk about HR, but from the digital point of view. So we will combine those two subjects. This guest is Bartosz Guzowski. Hi, Bartosz, how are you?
Hello, Wiktor. Thank you very much for having me today. Hello, everyone.
It's so nice to have you in our studio. Tell us a little bit on the very beginning about yourself. Who you are, who do you work for? So we will have an intro to our talk.
Sure. Thank you very much. So, as you said, my name is Bartosz. I'm global HR transformation expert. We are supporting customers worldwide in all continents, in fact, in the journey to the HR transformations, including all topics related to the implementation of the cloud-based solution tools, but also HR process digitalizations, topics related also to carve-outs and mergers. So those are the things that we are doing together with my colleagues from Germany. We've got small consultancy boutique named HRT Managers, and this is, let's say, our home base. Yeah.
I was, to be honest, all the time thinking for all of my life that HR is a very, let's say, body part of our world, and so on and so on. And this digitalization was something what was not directly connected to HR as such. Yeah, and your business is very much digitalizing the HR world.
Yes, in fact, HR was a little bit, I would say, underestimated in that case. Yeah, I mean, many organizations went to the digital path in terms of their supply chain processes, the IT, of course, and others. HR was always thought through as a kind of, I would say, the area that is not for so much prone to digitalization. But for last, I would say, decade, many things changed. Yeah, so we've seen its absolutely acceleration, especially after the pandemic times. Yeah, when we've seen that HR can be not only provided via, let's say, digital devices, but also how it is important to optimize the processes in the digital world. Yeah, so moving the documentation example given to the digital cloud-based storages, and using this on the daily basis, but teams that are located worldwide, in fact. Yeah. So now it's not anymore so much important where the HR person sits, but what kind of tools we got and what kind of access to the data we got. Yeah.
So maybe let's go to some basics of that. Yeah. So what can be digitalized in the HR world?
Mm-hmm. In fact, everything now. Yeah, there is most of the processes currently can be digitalized, and they are appropriate cloud-based solutions tools that are also helping in it. Yeah, but to do it, first you need to think about the basis really. Yeah, so you need to think from the perspective what HR is in your organization and what will be in the future. How HR organization should support also the strategical topic of your organization as such, and how HR strategy is embedded into the organization strategy as such. You need to ask the question, do you have even HR strategy, in fact? I mean, this should be the base point, because in fact, this will define what kind of activities, what kind of steps you need to take to leverage, to make your organization more mature. So if you look at this from the perspective of the, let's say, maturity, as I mentioned, yeah, look, the former times, HR was mostly reactive, yeah? So you were getting some request from employee and you were reacting, producing some document or providing some information to the employee, right? So, and during that time, HR function moved into the different waters, yeah? So HR function in the mature organization, it's more focusing on providing the value to the organization, to the business. And HR should support, in fact, realization of the strategical goal of the organization. Of course, still we've got the processes that are very much transactional, admin, etc. But you need to really think about this, how HR can help in realization of goals and the strategy of organization. Yeah?
Does it mean that now we are facing some kind of a closer cooperation between HR and IT within the businesses?
Oh, definitely. I mean, HR and IT, this is one topic, but additional topic is also connection with the management as such. So former times HR was a little bit, I would say, the brackets, a little bit sometimes unwanted child in a way. Yeah. So yeah, decisions were taken by CFO, CEO, CIO, or CTO, let's say this way. CHROs were not so much, let's say, involved in many decisions. I'm a little bit generalizing, but let's say that was the trend. Yeah. Now, role of the HR is much more vital. Yeah, and helping also the organization in finding the cost efficiency in a way and advantages, and also securing the core processes in the organization. Yeah. So think about this. If from one day to another, you lose all access to the data, that you cannot report, in fact, on any factors. How you take the quantitative or qualitative decision about organization, without access to this point. So definitely there is a link, and you can see that more and more organization thinking about the role example given of HR business partner, more about like someone who is, let's say, being the link between really the business and HR and people, than administrator as such of the let's say everyday people affairs.
When it comes to this connection between those two words, I am thinking about at least three scenarios, which first came to my mind. The first scenario is that we are already well organized and well developed organization with proper tools, so it is just working. So we are adopting another processes from HR, from the onboarding, offboarding, whatever, placements, and so on, management of the HR documentation, the paths of the employees, and so on and so on. The second scenario, which I have in my head, is that someone is still before this process. So we are more manual organization, and we are thinking about digitalizing some parts of it, including HR. And the third one scenario, which just came to my mind, is that we are facing acquisitions and mergers between the businesses, and one company is more mature than the other. So now there is a need to connect those two different words and to adopt those two different environments. So if I could ask you, what steps to take when somebody is in this scenario second and third? Because if somebody is in the scenario one, it means the lessons are learned. But if we are now facing a situation, okay, let's digitalize HR in our business. So what steps should be taken? What should be taken even into consideration when considering something like that?
I would say that there are three main steps that should be taken here. First of all, you need to make the basis rights. And to make the basis rights, you need to focus on three areas, especially. I mean, there are a little bit more of them, but I would let's focus on the three, the most important ones. Strategy, as we said, as we said. Where should we be? What we want to be as HR function? This is first thing. Second thing, topics of the governance of the processes. Governance of the HR organization. So this is also very important. And the third one, very much underestimated, is the stakeholders management and the change management. So I would focus on those three areas, because I would say that if you don't facilitate and appropriately address those ones, you will have a massive problems in moving to cloud, in moving to the digitalization. Why? Strategical wise, we need to know what we want to be. As I said, reactive HR or strategic HR business partner. And this will also imply certain, let's say, think through in terms of how our HR strategy will be linked to the strategy of our organization. This is first aspect. Second aspect, governance. You cannot implement appropriately global processes with global governance and the ownership. Why it's like this? We've got, let's say, three main, again, topics within, let's say, governance here. First one, the global process owners will be for us in the future also, in a way, center of excellence and the experts that they've got overseeing, let's say, overview of the processes, harmonized processes worldwide, and they are also linked to the local HR process owners. And this will be very important, this step of the linkage, because you could definitely build the beautiful center of excellence with global process owners sitting in their own castle, surrounded by the fences. But if they do not have a link to the local colleagues that are bringing the ideas, that are also alerting about the business changes, about the legal changes, etc., you will never achieve this synergy level, and you will never get appropriate outcome of the digitalization as such. Yeah. So this is the second aspect within the governance model. Yeah. Third one about the, let's say, global ownership is related to the I would say continuous improvement process. Because if you do the appropriate connection between the global function and the local ones, yeah, then it will be automatically, let's say, you can implement between different countries, between different time zones, nice continuous improvement process that will help you to take your organization to the next maturity level. Yeah. So I would say this is very important. Third topic I touched is about stakeholder management and change management. Yeah. Also a topic that was former times really underestimated. Yeah, I mean, we are coming. That was the let's say the ideas in heads of many managers. We are coming with new tool. Everyone needs to adopt it. Yeah, we will implement. There is a go live date, and that's it. Yeah, we are just introducing the new tool. Now you will work digital. Yeah, but what does it mean to work digital? For many people, this is absolutely change of the world. You need to take into the consideration that many people worked in the paper way or in the non-digital, let's say this way for 15, 20 years. Yeah, we need to also somehow address them. But it's not also about the end user. It's about core stakeholders that you've got on the ground. Yeah, if you don't appropriately align with finance function, with the real estate function, with the procurements that are connected also to HR, if you don't explain them what does it mean and what will be the path of moving to digitalization, what is the outcome and what they can expect also from the let's say workload perspective that is needed from their side. You can also expect certain pushbacks. So that's what I said. Let's do the basis right. Let's put the appropriate strategy first. Then let's think properly about topics like communication, appropriate stakeholder management, which is I think one of the crucial points. Yeah, and this would be basically the basis that you need to put, yeah, on the place. Yeah.
Talking about the strategy, I do believe that on every of such step, this strategy should be adopted. Yeah, we just cannot have one ready strategy whenever we do implement something, including also this relation with the stakeholders and being in line with all of those governance elements. Then this means that the strategy should be changed as well.
Yes, in fact, this is true. I mean, it should be. Sometimes it's just an evolution. Yeah, you don't need to always do the big revolution. You just need to appropriately think through what, as I said, where would you like to be, and start adopting, thinking, doing the analysis of the roles, of the responsibilities in your organization, and also where we would like to be in the future. Yeah. So this is, I think, that first step, and strategy as such should be introduced, and adoption, as you said, is one of the important factors. Why? Peter Drucker said someday that culture eats strategy for a breakfast. Yeah, it's a little bit like this with change management and communication. If you don't do appropriate, let's say, introduction to the strategy and to the changes that you are expecting, people will not adopt it. People will refuse it. Yeah, so you really need to be very conscious about this one. And only when this is done, then you can move to the next steps of the preparations, yeah, of this digitalization process.
Evolution versus revolution. But isn't it like that if you didn't have any digitalization in place in the organization, this is somehow like a revolution? I believe, okay, we can name it as we like, but at the end of the day, if somebody didn't use the digitalized world, using the cloud, using all of the tools which are helpful, I would say, for the management perspective, then this is a revolution basically, and this is a revolution in the mind, how to adopt this new world, this new environment versus the old habits, the old things, working things. Yeah,
of course, and I can tell you that in some of the organization, depending on the maturity level, when we are doing implementation of the cloud or cloudification, let's say, we're moving to the organization to the cloud, we are creating within the project team the special workforce that is focusing only on the change management topics. That you've got appropriate change management strategy implemented, targeted for different roles on the people in the organization on different levels, because you need to explain it and show not only the beautiful picture, what does it mean from the pros and cons perspective. So to put on the table very clearly, what does it mean for me sitting here on front of the desk that those guys will come with the digital world? Yeah, what does it mean to me? Yeah, how my word will change? And I think that this is the start of the whole process, the transparency. And I would like to really put emphasis on it, to be as transparent as possible from very beginning about the digitalization. Yeah, of course, like every change, there is a certain pain with it. Yeah, you need to get used to the new things. You need to get rid of certain of your habits. Yeah,
Yep.
So this is difficult. Yeah, this is not always the easiest one. That's why what we are doing, we are preparing organization for it. Yeah.
Let's maybe go into the direction. Okay, I made my mind. Yeah, I will go to be more digital than I was so far. What should I be aware starting this process, and how long it may take? Okay, I can understand it depends, but what it depends on?
So definitely maturity, yeah, of organization, as we said. I mean, if you don't have this basis created, definitely this is prolonging the process. So I would recommend to organizations that are not there yet, they are seeing that they don't have appropriate strategy, that they don't have appropriate governance, to do it first and prepare kind of cloud readiness or digital readiness project first, yeah, internally in organization, before implementing any tool, before changing any processes, to do this homework first, yeah. And this process may take, depending on the size of the organization, yeah, and depending on the also the country scope, because this is also really important. You will have different timeline for 5 countries, different for 35 or 40, yeah. But it may take between 6 months, let's say, and 18 months. This preparation is
Still quite short, to be honest. I was believing that actually it may take much longer time.
if it's done properly, as I said. If you are coming with appropriate idea how you should do it, and you've got appropriate planning for it, this is feasible, yeah, to do it. So this is first thing, cloud readiness, let's say. And then the whole implementation is coming, yeah. And within the implementation, you need to think about a few things. As we said, IT is one part, yeah. So HRIS function as such, and HRIS landscape that you need to analyze to understand how this new cloud-based solution will be integrated with other tools that you've got in your organization. As I said, with finance, which is very important, that payroll appropriately reports the new general ledger files, example given, or with the banking solutions that you pay employees on time, appropriate manner, etc. You really need to think broadly and take your time to really diligently analyze connection to your benefits. Many organizations, they've got a lot of interfaces, yeah, to the benefits providers, and you also need to really map it thoroughly, yeah. So this is one of the things, yeah. Second thing, harmonization of the processes. So I can tell you, you can buy the best, the best on the market, cloud-based solution tool. You can pay a lot of money for it, for the licenses, but you will never get really advantage of having it. If you are buying the cloud-based solution only to have it, of course, you can do it. But from my perspective, this is lost of time. Yeah. What you need to do is think how the process will work in the future and how you will manage this process. That's why I said about the governance importance, that you've got a global process owner, because at the end of the road, we would like to have in most of the entities or countries, depending on the organization, harmonized processes. Of course, if you go to the country, if you go to Poland and ask, can you harmonize the process? HR, they will tell you, no, we are special. Yeah. If you go to other countries, say, no, we are special. We cannot align to this process. We cannot harmonize. But let's face reality. HR is doing the same thing. Yeah. In each and every country, we are attracting people, we are recruiting people, we are onboarding them, we are hiring, we are managing their talents, we are paying employees, we are managing their benefits, etc. Of course, they are local specifics and requirements you need to take into consideration while implementing. But the ultimate goal, that while introducing the digital solution, you are ready with it, then you've got also ready harmonized processes. Again, why? because at the end of the road, you'll be able to manage the process, optimize it appropriately between the countries. You will have fantastic reporting on it, on click. Yeah, I still remember the times when I worked with one of the CHROs and he said, you know, Bartosz, if I would like to know how many employees I've got in my organization, I need to request reports from 25 countries. And you know, after 1 month, I'm receiving those reports that are already not actual because a situation changed. Yeah? This is one of the examples. Second example, naming of the positions. It's not maybe related purely to the process, maybe a little bit more to governance, but the same. If I run the report and I've got different namings for engineers in my organization and I've got 20 different namings, how can I draw any conclusions based on it? Not possible. Yeah? So that's what I'm saying. First, do the appropriate harmonization of the roles and an organization and the process. And then you can really take advantage of it. Yeah. So this is, I would say, the second topic that it's very important. Yeah. Processes harmonization. Yeah?
Listening to that, I believe that this harmonization every time looks different. You just cannot have a model which you can adopt to any industry or even within the one industry to any company. It's very dependent on the business reality which you face within the organization. Yeah, so it's very, very individual approach.
Yes and no, I would say. So I would challenge it. Yeah, I would say that I can tell you that I can come with the 85% process ready for each of the HR function that should be only adjusted slightly for the certain business requirements, yeah, let's say, or the compliance requirements on the country level. Of course, let's take recruitment process, yeah, talent acquisition. Yeah, definitely to look differently for the white collar organization when you've got only corporate people and the turnover is very low comparing to the organization, fast food industry, production, blue collar employees, where you've got turnover on the level, I don't know, 70, 80% on the yearly basis. It happens, yeah? This kind of organization, when you've got really, and you need to hire and fire very quickly and people are leaving your organization. So then you need to think a little bit differently about it, yeah? So those are differentiator, but the process steps more or less looks the same, yeah? Of course, you can use different toolbox to support. Yeah. So example given for this, having in mind this talent acquisition, because we are talking about this as example. Yeah. You can take some robotics. You can use some AI even to validate to schedule example given meetings with the candidates. Yeah, even you can introduce certain chatbots that answer the first basic questions from the candidates. Yeah, so you can streamline the process. Of course, you can take all of those new, let's say, tools that are, I don't know if they are already still new, but they are existing around us and they are moving much more and more into the HR world to help. But if you look from the process perspective, it really can be harmonized and you can really come with the common pattern that works for most of the countries from Asia Pacific to South America.
You mentioned that 80-85% might be quite the same, or let's say similar, and then the hardest work is on this remaining 25-15%. And if we have that in mind, are there any industries who are easier to digitalize in this HR world than the others?
Yes, they are. They are definitely organizations that are coming from, let's say, the technical organizations, let's say this way, from the tech world, are much easier to do it. Yeah, because as you've mentioned before, I mean, they are already used. I mean, usually they are on this first group of the organizations you mentioned. Yeah, so those are. It's easier for them to move into this path. More difficult, especially for the production. Yeah. Production organizations are a little bit more difficult in that sense that you've got also a lot of very local rules of managing, example, given time or the payroll of blue-collar employees that you need to take into consideration. Usually for white-collar employees, it's much easier. Usually they work 9 to 5. It's much easier also to configure in the system. When you are entering the blue collar organizations, yeah, then you've got much more or production in a way. You've got much more deviations or the things that you need to keep eye on to still, let's say, on one hand side, digitalize them, but do not break the business. Why? you will see it when you're doing the analysis of the production organization from the HR perspective, that there are multiple, sometimes hundreds of the reports on the monthly basis that are delivered by the HR P&O function to the controlling teams, to the finance teams that are used to steer factories. Yeah. Topics related to the productivity of employees, topics related to the working time, different aspects here, yeah. And this is something that you really need to be very diligent and spend more time on it, because if you don't do it correctly, you can even put the organization in the problem, yeah, after go live, yeah.
You're working with various businesses, not limited to even one country, but like an international type of business. Do you see any differences in this digital mindset when it comes to the companies who are being located in one country or another? Are there some market leaders, I would say, who we can follow or who show that this is the right path to go, and so on and so on?
Yes, I would say that yes, yeah, that there is a common pattern. We worked with organization, as I said, on all continents, maybe beside Australia, yeah, but and you can see that US and Canada is quite advanced, yeah. So you can see that for them, this let's say digital world is already quite natural. Already, also old Europe, and that is interesting. Not all countries in old, let's say Europe, Western Europe, are so much eager to do it. Yeah, you will see in some of the Western countries that there are certain pushbacks in terms of changes to the new tools. You would also see it on the level of the countries that they've got very strong unions and workers' councils that are protecting employees' rights. Sometimes not in the sense that. That is probably good for employees. Yeah, so they are protecting status quo, sometimes not seeing the advantages and I would say additional security that the digitalization gives. Yeah, because this is one of the aspects we didn't touch as a small, let's say, following in the one of the corners, that digitalization means also security. So if you move to digital, from the operational perspective, yeah, HR function, you are getting much more security. You are not so much prone to have problems out of pandemics or topics, etc. That needs to be taken into consideration. From operational perspective, you are also securing your employees, that they are paid on time, that the data is still accessible in the cloud, not on someone's computers that can be destroyed. Yeah, so this is one of the patterns. Coming back to your question, I would tell you that Central Eastern Europe countries are very much advanced in it. Yeah, so we can see, if you look at the Poland, if you look at the Czechia example given, those are the countries that are very open to digitalization. Even last year in Czechia, law was changed to this extent that most of the documents, I would say currently 95% of the employees' document can be already prepared and signed in the digital form. Only some of them needs the let's say hard copy and the wet signature. And you can see that legislation of those countries are also supporting this. So this is a little bit ecosystem connected, yeah? That countries that are thinking about the grow and let's say the change in the mind, being, let's say, also the market leaders, they're also changing the regulations that are helping HR. So this is also sometimes the factor, yeah? How the government works, yeah?
This sounds to me like that we are moving much into the direction of self-service when it comes to HR within businesses, but also within our private life. Because if we do have access to our data based in various public systems, for example, then again, this is somehow connected to the digital area of this element. Yeah, but self-service.
Oh, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful question. Thank you, Wiktor, for this, because I mean, absolutely, this is something that we need to do. I mean, if you don't take advantage of the employee self-service and manager self-service in the HR industry, having in mind cloud-based solution, yeah, then you are losing money and you're using also employee experience. Look, I mean, now I mean, I've got my phone. I can do whatever I want from my phone. I can go to my banking. I can go to my insurance. I can change my contracts. I can do whatever I want. Why shouldn't I act like this with my employer? Why should not I? I mean, of course. And this is also what we are also proposing with within our, let's say, business. Yeah, that to introduce as much as possible, as many as possible, employee self-service and manager self-service. So this is absolutely must. Yeah, this decreases cost on the HR function massively and increases employee satisfaction. What is the best? Yeah, and then coming from this, from employee self-service to and manager self-service to our shared service center or business process, let's say, outsourcing world. I mean, this is exactly the next step that you need to take, having major organization HR function. Look, if you've got already harmonized process, if you've got global process owners assigned, if you've got appropriate HR business partners that are really taking care about your business, understanding need of the business and working with HR function to make it happen, to support your business, why those people should do administrative or transactional tasks? There is no sense. Look, if you've got harmonized process, you don't need to have one employee sitting in Czechia, one employee sitting in Poland, one in Germany, one in France, one in Sweden, Norway, Brazil. Maybe you can have two people sitting in one location supporting or certain transactional process from one place. That's why this is the next step. Yeah, some organizations are doing it together. It depends also on the on the maturity. But I would say that moving into also the processes, bundling them together, similar processes, and delivering from 1, 2, 3 places worldwide for the big organizations, this is absolutely cost advantage at the long run. Yeah, we can really cut the cost, and this is one thing, cost factor, important for CFOs. But what is also important, that your HR business partners can really focus on their work, what they should do. I can tell you, their satisfaction also increases if they don't need to manage hundreds of papers every day. They can focus really and use their brain, the studies, many courses they took to really provide the value to the organization. Yeah, so this is absolute must. Yeah.
You somehow already answered to the question which I am going to raise now, but I will ask it anyway, and I will extend it to a little bit wider area. I mean the area of communication, but from two perspectives. One is how to talk to companies that digitalizing the HR area is something what is a must to follow. So it's not like something nice to have, but actually this is the way to go. And secondly, once somebody makes this decision and is in this process, how this company should communicate this digitalization to their employees. So just moving within the organization that, look, guys, we have decided to move this path, and this is why, and so on and so on. So what kind of arguments to use from this first group and the second?
Yeah, I mean, this is always the question. You need to understand the culture of the organization. Yeah, and this is absolutely the first thing you need to do. Yeah, you need to understand what are the drivers of your people. What is also the age structure in the organization. There is no one common pattern or one recipe I can give you, Wiktor, at the moment. So you will use different arguments if you are entering organization that is, let's say, 50 plus. Yeah, and your different arguments you use for organization that you've got, let's say, people in the 20 plus. This is majority. Yeah, so you really need to adjust it. Yeah, I would say for the second group, when you've got employees that are used to work with the paper, that previously that work in the old way, it's much more difficult for them to understand why their world is changing. Yeah, so in that case, I would be very, again, transparent and explain what are the pros and cons of it. Yeah, with also emphasis on cons. Let's don't escape from it. For those employees, I would propose to show them how organization will help them in moving. Yeah, because the arguments why to move to the cloud that will be more or less the same. Yeah, that's what we have discussed in the first part of our discussion. But what does it mean for me as employee, and how my organization, how my employer will help me in this journey? this is something that you need to put the focus on. Yeah. So for those employees, you can have additional training session. You can have additional communication. You can have additional shadowing, example given with experts that show how they can use or take advantage out of those new tools. Yeah. So I would do this in that way. Yeah.
The last but one question. Can companies do it on their own if they didn't have so far the experience with moving into the cloud or into the digital part of the HR processes or the work? I mean, okay, we can buy a person from the market. We can hire a person within and just let him or her to do this work. But is it something what the organization can really do on their own, or it's rather something what should be based on the external partners who might be supportive to that?
I would say the answer is a mix. Yeah. So it's good to have already in your organization someone who understands what we are talking about. Yeah. So someone who's got the basis that knows what the digitalization is. If you don't have anyone like this in your organization, take externals. Don't even think about this. Yeah. If you've got someone like this, or you're planning to create a small digitalization team example given, this is good. Yeah. And I would recommend, why not do it? Yeah. But definitely you will not need at the long run such a big workforce on the board that is needed to implement and digitalize your organization. So if you look at the, let's say, capacity needed for it, yeah, it's really like sinusoidal, yeah. So there is a certain peak moment when you are doing this cloud assessment, and then you are up to implementation, when you really need a lot of workforce. You need someone as a program lead, project manager, you need someone from benefits, from each of the processes, analytics, etc. And you don't necessarily need to keep these people in your organization for the long time after the implementation. So I would say the healthy mix is a good thing, yeah. But I can tell you, I've seen many projects that failed because organization thought that they will do on their own. And we've got many projects like this within HRT Managers that we are coming to the organization that failed in the digitalization. They are asking us to help in cleaning up in a way, yeah, to help them to restart, or to, let's say, join at certain point of time and analyze what went bad and help them to change this vector, let's say this way, yeah. So I would say that this is answer, yeah.
I thought I would have my last question, but I have another one.
Sure.
Let's say that we are done. I would say everything went smooth. It took a few months or several years. We are in the full digitalized model and so on and so on. How often we should somehow audit it or check if everything is working, or maybe even to upgrade it to some new business realities?
Constantly, Wiktor. Constantly. This is continuous improvement process. That's something that you will need to observe constantly. This is nothing. I mean, during implementation process, one of the things that you are also implementing, that would be my suggestion, yeah, is constant overview how the digitalization is going, how the adoption of the new digital tools is also ongoing, how often employees are using employee self-service, why they are not using it. Yeah, so this should be continuous process. Yeah, I would really suggest it, because by doing it, you can really gain a lot of efficiencies. And I would say that paying money for cloud-based solutions, yeah, HR cloud-based solution, also indicates, from my perspective, or should indicate also creating the certain team within your organization, or defining it on the global process owners role that are still continuity, let's say, checking the process. It's also about service delivery model. How are we providing the value to our organization? How are we, let's say, servicing our organization? This checking can be done also on this level. You don't always need to reinvent something or invent something very, I would say, sophisticated. Sometimes easy reports taken out of ticketing tool, out of the system where employees are, let's say, managing their affairs, can already give you indication how the things are going. So that's we are also helping organization to define KPIs. Yeah, so then you will see that certain KPIs are very easy to monitor on the daily, weekly, monthly basis. Certain needs a little bit deep dives, but it should be continuous process. Yeah?
I believe talking about KPIs within this area is a subject for another podcast,
Yes,
probably.
It's a big one. Yeah, that's true.
That's what I think so. Bartosz, thank you very much for all of those insights. If somebody wanted to get a little bit more insights from that area, how to find you, how to search for such information?
Yeah, I really invite you to visit my LinkedIn profile. You can also visit our website, HRTmanagers.com, and you can see a little bit more information about our portfolio, how you can contact us. But of course, always visiting my LinkedIn, you can get in touch, and I'm more than happy to help. Yeah.
So I will make sure to have the proper links in the description of our talk. So if somebody is interested to get more insights about this digital area of HR world, then you are free to contact Bartosz and find out more. Thank you for today.
Thank you very much.